Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support. Any kind of news and updates and the such. Usually, I go about on Twitter X. Later today, we'll have a Firewatch episode. I think we have 7 episodes total, if not mistaken. And yeah, it will be Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays until we wrap up this one, and then I will pass on to the next one. I think it's going to be Planet of Lana. Very interesting game, and I did enjoy that game also. But yeah, just a reminder: 4K complete gameplay series already here, and 1080p, which are the older ones that I did a long time ago. But yeah, I think that's it for in terms of updates. Let's go to the news. So, yeah, NVIDIA, it's been a shit show in this generation. We got from 1590 burning on the power connector stuff, plus all the other jazz with the Bauer video, and he had I don't know. I think it's a flaw in the design of the connector itself. Again, there is no safeguards regarding the GPU itself, regarding the power delivery and balancing that from the. I think it's 6 cables. Yeah, I think it's six cables to that deliver the power. Um, According to tolerance, they should be around maximum 10 amperes each one to get around and deliver. I think full load on the 5090 around about 52, 53 amperes, give or take. And we got the fact that there is no safeguards on at least on the side of the GPU to try and accept the balance in terms of that, plus all the facts that we have the connectors themselves. Again, from the dimple connection size to the other one that it's a little bit better. I forgot the technical term. That there is the also on the square um, female latch, which basically it's from the connector. We got the ones that have one slit, others have two. Again, there is a lot of stuff going around, but I have a good video from J2 Sensi try to explore this situation to see how much can be affected. Again, it's just kind of a couple data points from his case, but at least might give us an idea and try to explore what the hell is going on with this PCI Express 16 connector, 12-volt power. There, again, I think it was a shit show from the beginning in terms of their design, and the fact that in some instances, the fact that you have a design that basically can make user error basically burn the GPU or neutralize the hardware itself. I think it's a flawed design by itself. And again, I will keep hammering this because again, if it was just one case in 1,000 users that might have this situation, but it's something that is recurring. It started up with the 4090. We're missing some 5090s. Again, we didn't see a lot of cases with 5090s because there isn't a lot of them sold, and I think there is some cases here and there that 5080 I think I don't know the OC models that demand a little bit more power. We might see happening that on the 5080s. The 4090s continue to be a nightmare. And there is a lot of repair shops that at least a handful cases of replacing connectors on the GPU side of things on a weekly basis. Again, and then we saw this coming up, I think late Friday and throughout the weekend, coming around with the ROPs. Again, I'm not sure exactly what ROPs means, but what it does is basically it influences the performance of the GPU. I think it's kind of the what this indicates. ROPS is basically it's on the last stage of I don't know how to explain this because again even I'm not understand very well, but I know it had to do with the performance itself. I think it's on the last stage where the GPU has to process the information, and the ROPS influences this. I'm not sure if it influences in the sense of like a multiplayer or something like that. But in the case of missing ROPS, it does affect performance. We've been seeing this happening on the 5090s, some 5080s, and 5070 Ti. So all all the models that came out so far, some GPUs, not all of them, but some GPUs have this issue. This is a hardware issue on the side of manufacturing. And the most common case, I don't know if we had other cases where there are more than 8 missing ROPs. But what we've been seeing here is in some GPUs there is missing 8 ROPs. I think it has to do with it's kind of a sector thing. So it's on the manufacturer side, if there is an error on manufacturing that chip, and again, this manufacturing error comes from NVIDIA itself not doing the proper Q&A on the chips themselves. And again, there is some fallback that you can justify on the AIBs, but again, AIBs cannot do anything after they bought. I don't know how exactly the Q&A process does try to certify if they have all the ROPs there. But yeah, this is another thing coming up after also, again, I almost forgot there, with the CUDA 32-bit end of support on this 5000 series, which influences at this moment that we know of the physics kind of a thing there, which is the particle effects dedicated from NVIDIA. I saw some videos there going about here, but I think we might see more stuff that is on the environment of the CUDA 32 bits, that we might start seeing more troubles popping up regarding like technology hairworks and all that jazz that might need or can only be supported in 32 bits that are not going to work on the 5000 series. But then again, I think this will eventually pop out, and I will try to cover that as best as I can. With this ROP stuff, again, it's a manufacturing issue. It's something, again, given the count that there is a difficulty in finding inventory for these ones, again, in terms of how to proceed to return this, you have to go to the manufacturer of the AIB cards. Again, if they are AIBs and the Founders Edition, you have to deal directly with NVIDIA. Again, this is very tricky because, again, I'm not sure how the process works in this case, in the sense that if you have a replacement, you will be without GPU until we get the replacement GPU. If you're going for a refund on this, I'm not sure how the refund will work. If it is the price that you bought the GPU, or if it is the MSRP that they have at the moment. But then again, we kind of know how the MSRPs are working on the 5000 series from NVIDIA. Yeah, it's a shit show. In terms of the missing ROPs, the decrease in performance averages around 4% less performance with this missing ROPs, which is 8 ROPs. It's the case that we see the most when this happened. To check if your card does have some missing ROPs, you have on the site of Tech Power Up, you got a link there for the GPU-Z thing there, which shows all the information on your GPU. And again, there is in this side of things what are the ROPs that are showing and functioning on your GPU. Supposedly for the 5090s and 5090Ds, you should have 166, 5080s 112, and 5070 Ti's 96. If you have lower than this, again, my advice in normal condition is to return the GPU for at least for replacement, because you're losing performance with these missing ROPs. So you're not taking, especially on the hardware side of things, you're not taking advantage of what you're paying for. And supposedly it's through the manufacturer, or in this case, not the seller, but the manufacturer of the GPUs, that you have to deal with this process here. Again, given this is a very shitstorm of a launch, there is no, I don't think there's going to be enough of replacement GPUs here, even though supposedly NVIDIA, the official word is only 0.5, so half a percentage of the batch of the GPUs that were launched have this issue. Again, from NVIDIA, we also saw that supposedly the 5070 is going to has the performance of a 4090. So take it as it is. I don't. We don't know exactly if it is only half percentage of a certain batch of GPUs that had this issue, but it's from NVIDIA's fault. Again, this falls back on NVIDIA. The same case comes with the implementation of the power delivery, the 12-volt power pin ecosystem there. Something that on the $2,000 GPU, I think they have more than budget to introduce a fail-safe system on balancing the power delivery through that cable. And then we got also the disrupts and the fact that the GPUs are not that good in terms of price to performance uplift regarding the previous generation. Again, it's been a shit show, and it's still going to continue. Again, it's a matter of time we will discover a little bit more things here and there, especially on the software side. And I'm talking about the CUDA environment on the especially on the 32-bit. I saw a case where people bought a 3050 just to as a second GPU just to process the physics engine there. But then again, it's on supposedly on older game engines, but by itself there, it's not going to be easy, or I assume in some cases impossible to update the games themselves to have some kind of support for CUDA 64-bit. And I think something that it's so easy to be back compatible. It shows the lack of interest on NVIDIA of supporting more legacy and older systems, older games in this case, with their new hardware. It's something that it's, from my understanding, is not that hard to do. um, there is ways to go about it, and the fact that also don't forget physics or everything from the CUDA core, I don't know, environment workloads, which comes from also airworks, physics, and there is a couple of more stuff that are specific technologies from NVIDIA that are from NVIDIA itself. So they have the control of those technologies and how they are implemented and how they are supported. The fact that we'll be seeing a lack of support on this, it's for us gamers, it's a message that they don't care too much about us. So we got all of this bundled together, delivering us a circus of a show here on the launch of the 50 series from them. We got also a specific case from a 5090 that supposedly caught fire after a power stage failure. Got some photographs. There was a burning here. Again, between the power stage and this capacitor stuff, we are not sure exactly what happened, but the fact that it happened after restarted the PC, the GPU caught on fire. Smoke and the fire again damaged the motherboard itself. Again, this is very odd, especially on this high-end GPU. It's like the Astral. I think it's like the top tier from ASUS. Um, Again, I'm not sure exactly what happened here, but I think Gamers Nexus caught wind of this and managed to buy the material, so the GPU and the motherboard, I assume, so they can investigate this. At least that's the perception that I already. Sorry, the perception that I have regarding this situation. So we might see in upcoming weeks some updates regarding this situation of, I don't know, something blowing and burning or something like that, to see if it is something regarding the power delivery system, or if it is something regarding capacitors or something like that. But yeah, it's another case to add to the pile on the NVIDIA side of things. And here there is J2Cent's video regarding, he tried to test around to see, I think, again, here is trying to test the cycles of the connectors of the 12-volt power pins, if they really are that durable or not. And there was some interesting things that he discovered on this own testing. But yeah, it gives you a better idea, what can you expect, and what kind of a difference are between the connectors. As I mentioned before, the dimple kind of things, and then there is the other type of connector that he mentions, but I forgot the technical term. and also in terms of the slits that it has on the connector itself, on the pins, and how can influence the power delivery or not on the 12-volt power pin. But yeah, it's a shit show from NVIDIA, and we've been seeing more and more information leaking out from RDNA 4. The last one that we had was some gaming performance. Again, the comparison itself of being 42% faster on average is regarding the 7900 GRE at 4K. Again, this is the 9070 XT. Supposedly, again, 42% faster on average comparatively to a 7900 GRE at 4K. Again, the averages here is including ray tracing. Supposedly, again, in terms of this is the column that I'm going to focus more on. Again, we've been seeing a lot of uplifts in performance, especially on the high 30s until 66%. Again, F1 is very light on in terms of ray tracing, how it uses. Cyberpunk here it seems to be on the same level. Again, supposedly this RDNA 4, and we got the sense that it's going to be very more performant on ray tracing, especially from the PS5 Pro Mark Cern, not don't remember exactly how it pronounces. That I think head of development of PlayStation. He went about when the PS5 Pro launched on technical stuff regarding ray tracing because they focus a lot on they took the ray tracing kind of a performance and how it works from RDNA 4. And yeah, we kind of get the idea that it's going to be very high performant in terms of ray tracing, again, comparatively with the previous generation. But in terms of rasterization here, it seems to be almost around the 30% at 4K. I think the 7900 GRE performs a little bit weaker than the 7900 XT. And with this kind of balancing of the averages, it seems that the XT variant of RDNA 4 is going to be again between the 7900 XT and touching on the verge of the 7900 XTX, which is kind of interesting. Again, this is leaked information for supposedly first-party testing, so take it with a grain of salt. But it seems to be heading in a good direction, hopefully. Interestingly enough, as an aside here, it's interesting that they are comparing specifically with the 7900 GRE and not, for example, a 7900 XT or something like that. I think it has to do, probably, again, this is speculation, that it might have to do with the fact that maybe the price point should be aiming around the 7900 GRE. Again, I think it went from $550. Probably we'll be seeing maybe $600 or something like that from the 9070 100 XT. I think, again, between 550 to 650. I don't know. But yeah, if they manage to keep it at least below $600, might be a good deal. Given that he is performing a little bit better than the 5070 Ti, if not mistaken, in terms of the numbers that we have comparatively here on this table. And if it is so, and they can at least manage to deliver in terms of aggressive pricing more than 20% discount on the price itself, at least MSRP wise, I think we might have a good GPU. But again, we have to wait until the end of the month, which is, I don't know, 3-4 days until there. So you have the lift of embargoes regarding the reviews of the 7900 XT and also the 9070, if not mistaken. But yeah, not a lot of time here until we have finally some independent reviews. Reviews, no, the event. It's not the reviews. Supposedly the launch is going to be 6 March. So yeah, the official event, it's 28th of this month, sorry. And then in the meantime, we will have probably the lift of the embargo regarding the reviews and the launch of the GPUs themselves. But yeah, it seems promising, but I don't get my my hopes too high regarding this situation. Hopefully, that at least from all the information that we got, again, except with the exceptional price, because it we have to assume most of the pricing that we've been seeing around here is placeholders from CES timings that we had probably, and I think we might, if they really want to be aggressive, I think the 9070 XT can capture a lot of attention with a good pricing, with a good performance comparatively, especially with the 5070 Ti, which is what they're trying to aim for in terms of competition here. I think they might have a winner here for this generation, even without competing on the high end, because again, the average person will not be able to spend $2,000+ on the GPU. But yeah, regarding hardware, this is what I got. As a follow up from the NetEase, I covered this last week. I'm not sure if it was Thursday or Friday, regarding the layoffs of the satellite studio from Marvel Rivals. It seems this might be part of an overall bigger scheme in terms of what they're trying to do here. Again, this is the wrong article. Again, this is not the complete article that I want to bring. Sorry about that. It's this one. Yeah, there seems to be a bigger plan here from NetEase. And I covered this from Teddy Sasser regarding the layoffs here. And then they were basically pressured to give kind of an official statement from NetEase. And I covered that they made a difficult decision to adjust Marvel Development's team structure for organizational reasons and to optimize the development efficiency for the game. At my time, I think, if not mistaken, the opinion that I gave is again. This is about to happen. Supposedly, it's like 6 persons that were working on this, and they had in this inside the structure itself. They seem to have like an R&D kind of a role there. So after the game was launched, supposedly it didn't make sense having them around and work for that, and probably that's why they to make it the studio more agile and to cut the overhead of maintenance of the game itself. Probably they were laid off. At least that's what my perception. Like at the time that I covered this, we only had this situation. It seems that the overall scheme and strategy is going to cut a lot of foreign investments that they did, especially from the lockdown period, so 2020 to 2022, give or take. And this comes from Grumps again. He mentions here that this is from an insider. Insider. Oh my God. Insider source. That's the word that I'm looking for. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, supposedly it is also there will also pull funding from Western and potentially some Japanese studios. The CEO said it's very again. This is the part of the insider source. Again, we have to take it a little bit with a grain of salt, but it's. I will not be surprised if there is the reasoning. The CEO said he is very unsatisfied with Western developers, call them lazy, entitled, slow, and woke, according to a source I spoke with. Comes from Grumps, and again, it makes sense to a certain degree. The fact that probably the entitlement and the fact that they are slow, again, those two usually are combined, and the fact that they are again the lazy part, I think, has to do the fact that the on the Chinese part here, market labor market, I think they can squeeze out more productivity out of the workers that they have there, and I think this is part of the strategy of cutting funding of investments that they made at the time. Again, what can I say? And the fact that the wokeness, I think it has to do more with the ESG scores and the fact that there is with that checklist of things in terms of how a corporation works. I think it decreases a lot of overhead of the production budget, and of course the fact that you have those checklists, everything that you do on the production pipeline has to be confirmed or not through that checklist. So it takes more time to do the same thing, because you have to see if it is in conformity with the checklist of ESG scores. Again, it has to do a lot with the loans that companies take to try and reduce the interest of those loans when the game launches. Again, it's a lot of weird stuff that usually people don't see this ugly part here. But yeah, from those investments, there are what can we say? Studios that are on a more strict surveillance of how things are going, which comes from Fantastic Pixel Castle, Rebel Wolves, which this one we covered the Dawn Walker. Uh, it's whatever Dawn Walker. We got Worlds Untold, Skybox Labs, Bad Brain, Jackalyptic Games, Jark of Sparks, Anchor Point, T Minus Zero, Bullet Farm, Quantic Dream, Spliced, and Anchor Point Studios. All these studios, um, some of them already pulled some funding. This Jark of Sparks pulled fund. The funds were already pulled out in January. Worlds Untold shorted in November. And Quantic Dream is rumored to be in trouble again. A lot of the Quantic Dream games seems to take their time on making games, coming up with stuff to sell. But yeah, don't forget this is huge investments made by them, founded by top veterans from AAA gaming, and mostly made during the high-fly game demand driven by COVID boredom. Again, lockdowns and the such, a demand which has seen contracted, which is also has part on this on the overall scheme of things, is the fact that people after the lockdowns start at least most of them recovering and recovering their old routines, so less time to be spent on games, so less investment and money spent on that. But yeah, we will see how this goes. I think some, at least Rebel Wolves is the only one that I can see, and Quantic Dream are the only ones that I can recognize at the top of my head. Rebel Wolves and the Dan Walker game, I think it's on a good place. Hopefully, with this summer showcase on the Rebel Wolves game, might see some good stuff coming out, and hopefully, no funding is pulled out. Again, the funding by itself doesn't mean that the game will be completely cancelled. Again, if they manage to get around and get more funding from other sources, they can continue their projects. But yeah, this is very interesting. That again, they are not playing around. They take their investments very seriously. They don't want to spend and waste money on slop games. Even Marvel Rivals at one point in time was not in the works of being launched. There was some troubling regarding paying for the royalties of using Marvel characters and all that jazz, but it passed through, and when it's launched it was a huge success, and that's why they managed to continue with that. But yeah, we've been seeing a lot of Chinese, some more smaller studios, some of them with investments from NetEase and Chinese big corporations that are funding certain projects on the double A or indie side of things, and they are coming up with some good games. And and I think they saw a demand on the market of different kind of games, with probably taking a little bit more chances on um, uh, uh, without because people are tired of formulaic games. For example, the Ubisoft games, they all feel the same. We've been seeing the same thing coming, especially on the RPG side of things. We got the Evolved situation, which is seems okay game in terms of gameplay mechanics. We got Dragon Age Valgard, which is trying to be something that is striving for the majority of people. That no, when you start doing something for everybody, nobody will buy it. Basically, being games or whatever it is. And I think they prefer to try and take a little bit more chance on sorry, independent developers that are willing to take a chance but have a good idea and pitch, and pitch for a game that is very specific on what it tries to do, than trying to please everybody, and then fail at it. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how this, especially with NetEase, how this funding will go or not. In some cases, hopefully, at least Rebel Wolf seems to be doing something great there in terms of what they're trying to achieve on the especially on the time mechanic there. But yeah, let's see how it goes. Hopefully, most of them that are good games come through and have good sales. That's my overall opinion regarding that. And then we got a tidbit here. NieR is going to have a live stream for the 15th anniversary. Is set for April 19. Again, the interesting thing here is a lot of people that were involved with the NieR series games. We got again the creative director Yoko Taro is being very silent with regarding NieR games. Again, I managed to buy NieR Replicant and NieR Automata. It's one of those games that I will eventually play and probably do a recording or a gaming series on those ones to see how it goes. But yeah, I'm very interested because again, very high regard for NieR Automata that I've been seeing here. It's a recommended game that people go about and claim that it's an excellent game, and it's one of those that I really want to try out. And I'm interested to see if Yoko Taro has something to do or going to announce anything regarding the NieR series. But yeah, 19th of April, we'll be seeing something here. Hopefully, we get at least I don't know. NieR Replicant is already have a remaster. NieR Automata, I'm not sure if it needs one. I don't think so. But yeah, maybe we'll get something here. We got an anime series that it came up on Netflix, if not mistaken. The reviews that I saw, the consensus seems to be okay, not excellent, but okay. But yeah, hopefully we get more news when it comes to that. Um, we're going to wrap up here some gaming deals. We got still Batman Arkham Collection until the 26th, so a couple of more days until the deal is off. But then again, this is very recommended from my end. I played the first two, and the third one, it seems to be in a good position here in terms of feedback. They improved a lot since it was launched. We got Balatro again, 50% off. Again, I played mainly on my cell phone. It's basically the only game that I play on my cell phone. And yeah, very addicting, very interesting, and it's one of those that it's just one more run to see how it goes. We got also Dome Keeper still on sale, 50% off until the 1st of March. Again, they got a demo here if you want to try out by yourself, but I do recommend this game. I really do enjoy this kind of games here. Then we got also jusant. I'm still trying to see if I can wrap up recording soon enough. 50% off. I do recommend the game at this price point from what I played so far. So yeah, I will eventually launch a gaming series on this one. On GOG, we got Children Mortar Complete Edition, 76% off. Again, the Complete Edition has all the playable content associated with this game. And I'm not sure if they have a demo. This game, I don't think it has a demo yet. I think it's something that they could launch. I think it's pretty good for this kind of games to have like a demo so people can get an idea what this game is about. We got Deadlight Director's Cut. Again, this one I recommend. It's very cheap game, not very long. I did a gameplay series on this one. Took me around probably around four hours to do this game. Very interesting story. But yeah, it's very enjoyable. Then we got also Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut. Again, 85% off. Recommend this game. And the sequel also the same thing. Digital Deluxe Edition, 85% off also. We still have Dredge on sale, 40% off. Again, it's one of those games that I'm very interested in one of these days in trying out. And then we got The Evil Within 1 and 2. So The Evil Within 1, 75% off. This also has, again, the other DLC. I did a gameplay series on this one. If you're curious about it, you can watch the first couple episodes to have an idea how the game is if you want to try it out. But at this price point, I can recommend. There might be some performance issues here and there. Other than that, I do recommend the game. Very interesting story that they're trying to tell here. And then we got the sequel, which is also at this point 80% off. I also did a gameplay series on this one, and I also recommend at this price point. And then lastly, we got Wartales, again, kind of a Jagged Alliance game here. turn-based battle, squad management, mercenaries doing their own thing there, and then we got a broad story. But yeah, 45% off. This one seems to be a pretty good one. But yeah, I'll wrap up here for today with a plug on my Patreon for access support as usual. The extra support at this moment in time is more for me to try and get around and get a better storage solution so I can have backups of stuff that I do for my clients. And of course, some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.